Okay, everyone, if you please raise your hands in the Zoom, we will get started with Magic Head Coach Steve Clifford. First question goes to Christian Brewy, WFTV Channel 9.
Coach, with just 6 days left until the start of the season and only 2 games, I mean, I guess how compressed do you feel like this time is, and what do you hope to accomplish tonight?
I mean, not very, and I think every coach, you'd feel like this in a normal training camp, that there's just not enough days to get organized. But, for me, and I would think most guys are seeing the same thing. I went back and watched our last game with Charlotte, and the thing that's striking is, again, it's just the rhythm of the players, how their shots are, how they are passing the ball, the level of execution. And that's why, to me, I mean, we've done so much contact in practice, and still our guys are as talented and gifted as they are. They're so far away from being where you'd want them to be. So Monday, we'll use these 2 games. I mean, we're not going to play a lot of guys. We're going to play the guys that are going to be ready to play on Wednesday. And we'll use tonight and Saturday for that. And then, we'll still do a lot of contact on Monday because, it's the only way they're going to get going. So we won't be as organized. We're definitely not as detailed as I wish we were, but I do feel it's the best way to attack it.
Rick Bonnell, Charlotte Observer.
Hey, Cliff.
Hey, Rick.
How is Bake doing?
Doing well. I think he had a really good start. The first game in Atlanta, he played very well on both sides of the ball. He wasn't as good the second game, but he's come back here and he's had 2 good days of practice. So, I think he's picking things up quickly, and he's actually, his strengths, are very much in line with what we need, in that, he lives in the paint. He can get the ball going to the paint, and he can also guard 2 positions. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, with James Ennis out, he's getting a lot of minutes right now. I don't know what the role will be to start the season, but this is certainly the way I envision this playing out. He could play a big role here for us by the end of the year.
Thanks, man.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, will you have Terrence Ross tonight? And, if so, how much will he be able to play?
He's going to be able to play. He did. We've had 2, really long, hard days of practice, and he was able to do both. He's limited tonight. He's on the minute restrictions. What we're hopeful is he can get through tonight. Tomorrow will be lighter, and then, play more on Saturday. But so far, so good.
Back to Rick Bonnell. Rick,
Hey, Cliff, what you said a minute ago about the realities, the sort of the triage you have to go through in this truncated preseason. How, if at all, do you think that will make the regular season games look initially?
Scattery. I think I think for what the fans are used to of, NBA players, I mean, some guys are going to look good, but I think, the one thing, Rick, will be in the bubble, it was all offense, right? And I think part of that was the bubble was such a unique coaching experience. And I know for us, we spent almost no time on defense. It was like, how do you get the guys so that they're going to be, in shape, in rhythm kind of thing, but also really concerned about where they were at mentally, So I think it was a lot of scrimmaging. And, you saw those games in the bubble early. They didn't look as bad because nobody worked on defense. Whereas I think now, normally, like with any sport, with any team, you want to progress on both sides of the ball in a fairly even manner. And I think teams are doing that. So as a result of that, I don't see the offense looking as good as it did in the bubble, in my opinion.
Thanks.
All right, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, I heard a story about Lloyd Pierce calling out one of his players' names on the court, and then the player on the bench stood up. He's having trouble. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. having trouble communicating with the mask on. I'm just curious if you've had any issues with that, maybe some things that you guys are doing as a staff to make sure what you want your players to know is getting across to them.
I mean, I haven't really noticed anything so far. I'll be honest, in practice sometimes I just, yeah, you have to put it right back. I just take, like, if I feel like they're not hearing me, I just take it off, and I notice that's what the NFL coaches do. Obviously it's harder for them. They're on the field, but in practice, there's been times for sure. Down in Atlanta, I didn't feel like we had any real issues. But you could see how that could be. It could be a problem.
Back to Christian Bruey.
Coach, I know you've been in there working in the arena and everything, but just to walk back out on the floor, I think March 2nd was the last time you coached the game in the Amway Center. What's it like to be back out there? And I know fans on the 23rd, hopefully 2,000 people will be there. What are you looking forward to with all that?
Oh, I think it'll be great. I think our guys are very much looking forward to it. The one thing is actually on the board in the locker room now. We have to play a lot better at home this year than we did last year. It was a problem. We were 16-15, and our schedule early is, this month is a long road trip. So even though the teams we play at home are, very high caliber teams, we have to be able to win at home. And so, hopefully that can start tonight and we'll play a lot better at Amway than we did last year.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, we know you won't have James Ennis tonight. We know Terrence can't play. Will you start the game the same way you did in Atlanta?
Yes, we'll start the same way. And then, Cole will play, MCW will play, T. Ross will play, Chuma will play, Kim will play, and then Gary Clark will play also in the second half. Aaron Gordon is still not cleared to play like normal minutes. He's getting there, but we're still being careful with him also.
Thank you.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, there's obviously some stuff you run unique to Terrence. How important is it for Cole to get reps with Terrence, to develop that chemistry for those type of plays?
No, very much so. And that's one of the things we've been trying to do is, when we do contact and practice like these last 2 days, is try to get them on the same group. And like you said, obviously Terrence is a big part of our offense, and a lot of the catch and shoot things that we do, we run for him. So that, timing, spacing, overall execution is important for our team.
Any other questions for Coach Clifford? Okay, thanks, Cliff.
Thank you.